What's going on, guys? Tower number 9 here again. This time we have a video with the new tier list update. And yeah, this is going to be another update to the tier list. We're going to put Cassian on there and we're going to take a look at where the heroes are presently. So we're going to lead off here, Boba Fett. Boba Fett remains here in the A tier, I feel. He's very strong right now. Boba Cunning has become a strong deck with the advent of new double cunning cards preview. Overall, still a very solid pick. Probably one of the best mid-range options in the game. So Boba Fett still up there in the A tier. Sabine Wren still up there in the A tier. Probably one of the best aggro options in the game. Hasn't had a lot happen to dethrone her, and has actually gotten some new cards to make her even better. Believe it or not, Leia's in a similar boat. Sabine and Leia are the two kind of premier aggro decks right now. That's Cunning Sabine, so Sabine yellow, and then Leia red. Both of those very solid right now. Um, Vader's in a bit of a weird spot. The meta right now is very aggro-centric with Sabine and Leia kind of heading things up. But and Vader is bad against aggro, so that's not a great spot to be in. But Vader does very well against the mid-range decks. He's probably the best like late game deck right now. So, you could say maybe Sabine and Leia are like the deck to beat. Boba is the deck that beats the deck, and Vader is the deck that beats the deck that beats the deck, or something like that. I don't know. But Vader does very well against like kind of the mid-range slower decks, stuff like that. But not so great against aggro, and does suffer a little in the aggro meta. However, I am going to leave him here in the A tier because he does have an important role in kind of the overall ecosystem, so to speak. Um, Arguably, you could say that aggro is so prevalent right now that Vader should actually be demoted to B tier, but we'll move him towards the back part of A tier or something and leave him there for now. Luke, I actually was going to demote to B tier, but he has seen recent card reveals that have made Aggression Luke have some better options. So right now, my belief is that Aggression Luke is actually it's not terrible against Sabine. It does suffer a bit. It's not really going to get the job done, in my opinion. If you end up facing Leia, it's actually harder to deal with than Sabine. Believe it or not, I don't think it's impossible against Leia, but I think it's harder to deal with than Sabine. But Luke, another mid-range deck option, has some definite strengths. Luke himself is a very powerful leader. I think that the green Luke decks that were popular in the past are not so good right now. I think they struggle against aggro, but if you can figure out a way to beat aggro with that, could be a good pick. Han still, we're gonna leave Han on the beach here. He has some cool stuff. He's not in the best spot. He's not in the worst spot. He has some very solid stuff. Again, he can do well into some of the mid-range type stuff, hitting that turn, hitting that turn 3 or 4 7 cost unit, as well as Han deployment, that can be pretty big. So Han's got some nice moves. Iden Versio, we're also gonna leave her in the B tier for now. Not as much movement, I feel. Uh, you know, Iden again has anti-aggro build. Again, maybe suffers a bit more against Leia compared to against Sabine, but has a fairly solid anti-aggro build that I think can do decently well. Probably still going to be at a disadvantage against Vader, but Tarkin's in a weird spot. I saw a double green Tarkin that somebody was playing. I unfortunately forget who it was, but someone had some quite good results with a double green Tarkin. It might have been Poem or Wu or somebody. My apologies for not remembering who it was, but I thought that was looking pretty cool. That being said, I would overall consider Tarkin to be um not in the greatest spot ever, but still can do some fairly solid stuff. Krennic, um, Krennic kind of similar. I personally prefer Iden to Krennic, but I know a lot of people prefer Krennic to Iden. Both of them, especially with like blue green, you can make a good anti-aggro deck. Have a lot of healing, both Krennic and Iden. So Iden's leader ability and her passive when she becomes a unit both heal the base when you defeat enemy units. Krennic just has Restore 2 on his leader side, or on his unit side. So both of those good ways to heal up the base a bit. Yeah, they're in a kind of decent spot, but I would still probably prefer to take Boba into fighting aggro, at least at this time. Um, Jin, I am unfortunately going to demote. Um, I don't hate Jin. In principle, her rules seem quite good, but She's in a similar category to Thrawn over here. Thrawn is also going to remain down here in the C tier, where the issue that I have with Jin and Thrawn is that in theory they're good, their stats are fine, they have decently good abilities, but for whatever reason it just doesn't seem to be coming together. And it sort of seems like if you're going for these color combinations, there are better options. I can't tell you exactly why, but I'd rather play Boba than Thrawn, and I'd probably rather play Han than Jin. Jin is going to be, I think, very good in the in limited formats. If you're playing draft, if you're playing sealed, I think Jin's ability is going to be a lot better. But right now, I don't think that she can do very well against the aggro decks. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have her down in the C tier this time. Grand Inquisitor, though, I'm actually going to promote, so we'll put him up in the B tier here. Grand Inquisitor is, we're going to leave him towards the tail end of the B tier, and I could see him, I could see him getting demoted or getting promoted further, depending on how things go. But there have been some recent cards that I think have been pretty good for him. Forced Throw. So that's one of the cards that's really been advantageous for. That's one of the cards that's really been advantageous for Luke with that aggression, Luke. But it's also works well for Grand Inquisitor, I feel, and he has a few other options as well. Overall, I think Grand Inquisitor not a not a terrible option, um, and could be kind of the first combo deck that we see. There's some cool stuff you can do with him with units readying up and attacking multiple times, some nice tricks. Overall, we're gonna put him at the low end of B tier here, so promotion there. Hera, I wanted to promote her, I really did, but I'm not feeling Hera. I think there's this annoying tension where she really wants to be double green so that you can play the powerful double green stuff. You can run the energy conversion lab for ambush, which you really want with those specters. And additionally, with double green, you can make up for the weakness of being a double aspect. You can make up for the weakness of being a double aspect deck by doing by bringing in those specter units. So it sounds really good, but in practice, it doesn't have enough removal. If she gets more removal, or if she gets like something that lets you ambush specters outside of double green or something, I could easily see her increasing. But right now, as much as I would like to promote Hera, she's unfortunately going to stay here in the C tier. Chewie is as well. You would think Chewie would be good against aggro. For whatever reason, he just doesn't actually seem to be good against aggro. Like Luke is probably better. I don't know. I maybe have to try out some more stuff with Chewie. There are some new cards that have been like kind of cool for him. So there's the new Vanguard Soldier. I think is pretty bad for most decks except for Chewie, but I don't think it's enough to really turn the tide. It's a decent card for him, but it's not incredible. Cassian Andor is going to be in the C tier here, unfortunately. So Cassian has a similar issue. So he's maybe in the higher part or something. I don't even know. So he has a similar deal to Thrawn and Jin, where he's not necessarily that bad, but it seems like other stuff does the same thing better. So I made this like low cost Cassian deck. It was pretty cool. The idea was to use a lot of low cost red and yellow cards, play that stuff out, get your hand size down, then you have more reason to draw cards and can use his ability to make up for the card disadvantage that you get from running such a low cost card. I actually think it's a cool deck. I had some decent results with it and everything, but the thing is, at the same time, I don't know why I would really want to play that instead of Sabine. It feels like Sabine does the same thing better. Sabine's really good right now, like also wants to run a low cost curve. And I think that her overall just super aggro game plan is better than Cassian's ability to keep getting you card draws and kind of extend your game further. So ultimately Cassian's going to be down here in the C tier, could easily change. And our boy IG88 has not updated. IG88 is still stuck down here in the D tier. So that's unfortunate for IG88, but not a lot to say about that, unfortunately. 4 HP on your leader is still really tough. We'll see what happens. The other thing is there have been some new red cards for, red villainy and so on, or just red in general, but they seem to synergize better with Grand Inquisitor and or Darth Vader than they do with IG88. So IG88 is going to stay down here in D tier for now. It's actually interesting. This is a pretty balanced tier list as I currently have it. So there's a top tier, a like mid tier, and a lower tier, but there's only one D tier, like this seems really bad, and there's no one in the F tier where it seems super broken. So overall, not the worst balance I've ever seen. We are, of course, likely going to get a new leader coming up soon, and when that happens and we've done some testing, I'll make an update. But for now, that's gonna be the latest update for the Star Wars Unlimited rolling tier list. Of course, as new cards get previewed and more games get played, eventually the game will actually come out. We'll have a lot more gameplay. We'll see how things go. And I just wanna emphasize also this is a tier list for constructed gameplay. It is not a tier list for limited. We don't even really know how leaders are going to work in limited necessarily. There's going to be a draft stream coming up soon from FFG with some more information on that. And it's conceivable I'll make a second tier list or kind of discuss both or something, but this is constructed only, and this is also just my opinion. Could easily be wrong on these things. Please do feel free to shout out in the comments below if you think I've got any of this wrong. But yeah, until then, that's going to be our latest update for the Star Wars Unlimited rolling tier list feature. And I believe we're going to have some new stuff going on with that. We'll have so this is the third update, and we will have some more news as well once we see some more stuff. So third update, fourth overall version, and we still have some more leaders to go, some more games to be played, some more cards to be previewed. So yeah, I'm personally quite excited for Star Wars Unlimited. We're now at the point where it's going to come out this year. Now that we are in 2024, we should see Star Wars Unlimited releasing in March, and I for one am quite excited. So that's going to do it for this tier list update. I will catch you guys later, and thanks for watching.